All right, this is going to get controversial.
Uh-oh.
You have said one of the most insidious forms of child neglect is a parent that does not go after their dreams.
Yeah. Well, that sounds harsh, but I just really believe it's true. So when my book came out, a girl that I love, went to high school with, actually elementary school with, called me. She goes, like, I'm so proud of you. Your book, and you got a TV show. And I said, well, thank you. And she goes, and it's just how you overcame all that neglect as a child. And by the way, I had a great family. I want to make sure I qualify that. I have an unbelievable mom, and my dad was awesome, but there was definitely some neglect in there. And I told her, I said, I won't say her name, but I said, can I be honest with you? I think you neglect your kids.
You said this to the person who called you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she got really quiet. She said, what do you mean? We've been married for 25 years. I don't even drink. We're happily married. And I said, listen, I won't say her name, but I said, I think one of the most insidious forms, like invisible, insidious forms of child neglect is a child who's being raised by a parent who's not in pursuit of their dreams or their potential. And she's like, oh my gosh. And I said, it's just, listen, you can say your daughter, sweetheart, you can be whatever you want to be. At some point, your daughter's going to look at you and say, Mama, why aren't you? You can look at your son and say, you're going to be so happy, son, and you're going to live a blissful life. Well, why don't you, Daddy? Your kids at some point, they're always going to love you. You're their parents. But they do figure out who you are eventually. And they're the ones with you when you're driving them to school in the morning and they can see you in the rearview mirror. They don't care whether you're rich. They don't care about that. But they do care whether you're truly happy. Right? Most things as a child are caught, not taught. We catch things from our parents. And one of the things we often catch from them is their emotional well-being, their emotional home. You may end up with a different life, but they catch it. And so they know whether you're happy. They know whether you're making a difference. They know whether you're contributing. Because people that are contributing and making a difference are happy. And people who aren't so happy. And so you're neglecting your children when you don't pursue hard things in your life. They catch from you. One thing I did learn from my dad is hard work. I learned it was good to achieve and do hard things in my life. And I just feel like there's so many people out there that are oblivious to the fact that you're cheating your kids out of something really special because they're never going to know who you could have been. That whole thing of when I get to heaven, I want, to be the ultimate version of me. I want my kids to see that. I don't think my kids care whether I have money or not. But I do think they care whether daddy's trying his best, whether there's some joy and some laughter in daddy's life. I think they figure out whether daddy loves daddy. I think they figure that out. And if you're raised by someone or you're raising someone and you're not giving your children the gift of you loving you because they catch this from you, you can't teach them that. You have to show them that because it's caught, not taught. And so when a child's raised by a parent who truly loves themselves, who's truly happy and blissful, right? Or truly faithful, they catch that. And when they're raised by someone who's not, no matter what else you teach them, they catch that. And so that's what I mean by I think you're neglecting your children when you don't pursue your dreams and your potential. And that's a harsh thing, but I say that because for this reason, we'll go back to what we said earlier, I know how much you love your children. And I know you don't want to have that happen for them. So if I could link it to your kids, I can get you to change. It also just happens to be true.
And learning to love yourself. That's big what you just said, because a lot of people say, well, I'm really good at loving my kids. That's enough. You're saying, oh, but it's actually caught.
It's caught.
Not taught. And if they don't see you loving you, which a lot of people think, oh, that's selfish. I don't need to love me. But that's like everything.
It's the thing. I got to tell you, and I only say this because I've never said this on any show before, but it's you, so I'll say it. I've neglected my kids that way. That one's for me. I'm really good at loving other people. I'm good at that. I'm not so good at letting myself feel it. Not only just from me, but even from other people who truly love me, to fully experience what it feels like to be loved. You have a little bit of that too, sister. Okay. And I realize my kids are going to catch this. They're going to catch this. I have to I have to let myself love myself. One of the things I learned just recently, I'll tell you, well, I'm telling everybody, I guess, but you've never heard me tell you this before, and we talk all the time, but I'm learning a lot about me at every stage of life. Like the reason I'm in this space for me is that I'm taking everyone on the journey of me learning and healing and growing. And so it's kind of fun. But one of the things I've learned about me lately is I learned as a kid to like disassociate emotionally. So like when it was chaotic in my house, what do you learn? You learn to kind of disassociate a little bit. And so I think that's carried over all my life a little. You know, if I'm at a party and everyone's having a good time, I have a good time, but not like everybody else does. If I have something great happen in my life and I celebrate it, I celebrate it a little, but I don't allow myself to really feel it. When I'm with the people that I love the most and I'm loving on them so much and they love me so much, I let myself feel it a little bit, but I disassociate to some extent. And that disassociation has served me in a lot of ways. Like when I have to go speak on a big stage in an arena, I can kind of disassociate from my fears a little bit and go up there and perform. Usually things we do in our lives to protect ourselves, there's a reason we do something, right? But I've realized long term, the cost is greater than the benefit to me. And at some point, I'm going to get out of this life and have never experienced it. At some point, I will have got out of life and never really felt loved by me and other people who truly loved me and never really celebrated. Here, truly, like really never enjoyed it. Like I think even me, at my age now with all the work I do, I in the back of my mind go, I'll get around eventually to really feeling great about my life or me or other people. But I'm robbing them, the other people. And here's why. You can't really fully transfer to me something that you're not experiencing yourself. You can only give me. So I'm actually delusional in thinking that I'm giving all this love to other people. I'm giving them a limited version of it because you can only give what you really experience. And so I've maxed out giving love to other people based on my lack of having it myself. Right. And it's like just recently, like I'm talking about like maybe even this week, I've fully embraced that that's true. And I can't believe I'm saying this with you now, but like, I need to change that. I think I'm loving everyone fully, but there's another depth and a level I could go to the love of other people. Only way there is to give it to myself first, so that I can give to somebody that which I'm experiencing myself. And so, wow, I'm surprised I just said that out loud, but it's totally true. It's something that I need to grow and change.
How are you going to do that?
I have this friend who wrote a book called Worthy, and she actually sent me the manuscript before she wrote it. And there are things in that book that I need to go back to, and I'm being serious about it. And here's what I found. It's a gift I can just give myself freely. It's always been there. Yeah. I've just hidden from it, kind of like I would hide from my dad, right? You talk about hiding in plain sight. I've just developed a pattern of hiding in it. And it's right there to be had. I don't have to earn it. Yeah. And I've always thought I had to earn it. I've conflated in my life too many times the difference between significance and love. And so when I was a little boy, actually, when I was a big boy, even now, I felt loved if I did something significant. So if I brought home straight A's, Eddie, we're so proud of you. Or if I hit a home run, or I got big muscles, or I made hundreds of millions of dollars, or I had an island, or I got a jet, or whatever it was, that recognition felt like love. But it's a reduced version of it. So all my life, I've been trying to earn it and earn it. And the truth is, I'm just realizing now, I don't have to earn it. It's my birthright. God gave it to me. I can have it anytime I want. And ironically, through a very difficult time recently, I've been giving myself pretty high doses of it in a time where maybe I don't even feel like I've earned it, because it's not something you earn. It's something that you experience that's always been there. And I'm actually, I would say the last few weeks, and by the way, there's been other times in my life, but like, I think it's kind of interesting that it's happened during a rather difficult time, that I've actually felt a lot of bliss and a lot of love and a lot of joy in kind of the midst of a tough time. as opposed to just a good time. And so to me, it's not something I have to go earn. It's something that I get. That's a gift that was always there. So you want to hear an interesting story about that? The quality of your life is the quality of your emotions. You and I talk about that all the time. But you develop an emotional home. There's like, I talk about this in my book, but there's like 3 or 4 or 5 emotions you get on a regular basis, no matter what, because you're addicted to them. It's your home. And so for me, those emotional homes could be bliss, joy, ecstasy, passion, love, faith, or they could be the other ones. They could be worry, fear, lack, anxiety, anger, right? Anger usually is the flip side of the coin of fear. When you see an angry person, you're seeing a scared person. And so I had an experience happen a long time ago that enlightened me to this. I'd finally made some money after all these years in business and being broke. I was building my first kind of like cool house. Not this cool, but a cool house. And anyway, the day was stressful. I'd had like a meeting happen, a bad meeting. I was all, and then the contractor had messed something up. And so I'm driving over there. I'm ready to get in this contractor's face, and I'm mad about the business meeting. And I walk in. They're building this house of mine. It was a mansion, and it was the first nice house I ever had. And I walk into where the living room was, and to the left was my kitchen. And in the kitchen were 6 men working. And they were all men from Mexico that had to leave their families to come here just to send money back home. It's my mansion. They're working in it. And I come in there all, and I look over at these guys, and they're blissful. I could see them from like, 100 feet away. They're blissful. They got their mariachi music playing. They're kind of dancing and laughing. They're doing work they were great at that had meaning and purpose to them. They had one another. And in that moment, I stepped out of myself for a second and I went, if the game of life is the quality of our emotions, they're winning, I'm losing. What is wrong with you? They had to leave their families, come over here. They're working. They're sending most of that money back home. They're building your dream house. And you're living in lack, anger, fear, worry, and they're living in bliss, joy, peace, equanimity. They're winning the game of life. Because here's the truth. You don't want the house. You want how you think it'll make you feel. You don't want even the relationship. You want how you think it'll make you feel. You don't want to lose the 20 pounds. You want how you think it'll make you feel. And what I'm realizing is I can feel those things anytime I want. And the truth is when you get those things, they don't do it. And so it just made me step back and say, if that's really the game of life is to feel things, I don't have to earn them. But it's not until recently now that I've realized I feel a lot of other things, but not love. Not love. That's the one I've withheld myself from giving myself the gift of. I've celebrated. I've had some passion and all that. But love, that's the one I've sort of reserved for only other people. And so now I'm working on giving myself that one.
I have been with you when you have stepped off stage and you have an entire sold out arena just sobbing and moved and impacted and blessed. And you will come backstage and tear yourself apart and all those other things. And I think you and I have, so many things in common, Ed.
You do that?
With believing, and just most of my life believing that lie that I need to achieve enough to finally feel enough, or believing that lie that achievement leads to love.
You think you still have some of that?
I think far less than ever. I think it's only the past 3 years that I've realized.
Really?
Yeah. And also only the past 3 years, I've realized all of that achievement and growth, while it's important, builds confidence, but none of it builds my worth, my identity, who I believe I am. And I think, when our self-worth is our ceiling, right? And if we don't think if we don't have enough self-love or self-worth to think we're worthy of something, we'll sabotage it, we'll disassociate from it, all the things. I want to ask you.
Wow, that's profound, that difference that you talk about there. Not to interrupt you, but the difference between confidence and worthiness, all the work I've done, I've never understood until you talked to me about it on my show. And what you just said there is like, that's one of those, everybody should rewind the last 3 minutes of that and listen to that again. That was really good.
It's just, I was believing, because when we think if we achieve more, we'll finally feel love and we'll get more love and more. And why does it still feel like something's missing? So then we achieve more and then we work hard. And it's this never ending cycle to never feeling it.
Yes.
Because we don't realize we are it.
That's right. We try to chase it, and it was
Yes.
always within us to
Yes.
experience anytime we wanted to.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
And when we don't believe it and feel it, then we hit ceilings, we sabotage things. I want to talk to you. I want to ask you something I've never asked you before.
Okay.
Not even in our regular conversations. I've never asked you about this before. But will you talk about baseball and 440 and scouts leaving
Oh, wow. Look
and
at you.
your self-worth?
Oh, whoa. Whoa. I've never been asked that one. Wow. Okay. So I'm in college, and I think I was leading the nation in hitting. I think I was leading the nation, but I was hitting 440, and you're amazing. Now you're going to make me really emotional. But so I think I was leading the nation in hitting, or I was close. Anyway, I was hitting 440, and I remember my coach coming to me going, "Hey, listen, we were playing in UNLV. We played it there, and I had a great series there." And he goes, "Hey, next week we're going to go down and play Cal State Ford, and these are top teams in the country." And he goes, "I just want you to know there's going to be a ton of scouts there. They're called cross checkers, national. So it's like the scouts. They're coming to see you. This is a big deal." And I said, okay. And so we went down, and we're playing Cal State Ford, and I blew it. First or second inning, a fly ball hit to me like a normal everyday fly ball that I've been catching since I'm 6 years old. I drop it. Like right in my glove, drop it. Like basic routine, like taking a glass of water and drinking it. I drop the ball. I end up getting out my first time, striking out the next time. I end up going like 0 for 13 or something like that in the series. But on my third or fourth at bat, I end up grounding out, and I hit first base, and I'm coming back to the dugout, and I look, and all I can see is the backs of all the scouts walking out. They all left. And I remember thinking, there goes my dream right there. I've blown it. And the truth is, what happened there was I didn't believe I was worth it. It's impossible for me to play that bet. I didn't believe I was worthy of it. My identity was not high enough. And what happens when your identity, as you know, I talk about a lot, it's like a thermostat setting on your life, right? And so if you're set at 75 degrees and you start getting results that are heated up beyond what you believe you're worth, you will turn the air conditioners on unconsciously, subconsciously, and cool your life back down to what you believe you're supposed to get. And it's a true thing. If you don't raise that identity thermostat, that worthiness thermostat, you'll cool it back down. It'll seem coincidental, like, ooh, the wind blew the fly ball, sun was in my eyes, or in business, supply chain affected my business, or, I had to loan some money to a friend. It's none of that. It's that you turn the air conditioners on. And so that weekend, I will literally never forget, and I can't believe you just asked me that, because it actually changes how I feel inside. I turned the AC on as cold as I could get it, back to what Eddie Mylett thought he was worth. All the way back to that little boy with the key in the lock and his dad coming through. I found a way in front of thousands and thousands of people to just melt back down and cool back down to what I was worth. And I'll never forget the day, because I literally watched my dreams walk out the door. I watched these people who were the gatekeepers of my dreams go, what in the world are we doing with this guy? They didn't even stick around to see the rest of it, and they were gone. And with that day, part of my dream died that day. Part of my dream died that day because I didn't believe I was worth it. I didn't believe I was worth it. And in hindsight, how sad. Now, what happens is, that's baseball, so it's very obvious. But in most people's lives, that subtly happens every single day of them. At some point, they just turn the air conditioners on and get it right back to what they think they're worth. And it wasn't for many, many years until after that I figured out why I did it that day. I don't drop fly balls. I don't go 0 for 13. But the moment was bigger than my worthiness in that moment. And wow, look at you. Yeah, my mom and dad were there for that too. And I remember watching my dad feel so bad for me. Like, they were just heartbroken, and I couldn't stop it. I don't know if any of you get that way where you're spiraling. I couldn't stop it. And then it got worse, and I got more pressure on me, and more pressure and more pressure. And then I just wanted to hide. I just wanted to quit completely. If I could have walked out of that game in that stadium in the middle of it, I would have. Like, just please get me out of here. I don't belong here. And it was like this great microcosm of life. Like, I didn't think I belonged there. It was getting too good. I was too close to my dream. I was getting too happy. I was becoming too successful. And I think it's a great warning, Jamie, for people that are on the climb right now. You have to keep growing your worthiness and growing that identity, because at some point, if you don't, you will turn the air conditioners on. If you exceed too long, you can exceed your identity for a little bit, but eventually you're going to bring it back to what you think you're worth. If you don't work on that part of you as you're growing. And I worked on how to hit a ball. I worked on how to catch and run and throw. I worked on all the fundamentals, but I didn't work on me. And the true me, who I thought the true me was, came out and made sure I dropped that ball, made sure I'd ground out the first, made sure I struck out a bunch of times, made sure I made every mistake I could make to get what I thought I was worth. Yeah.
This is the one thing, like it
thing.
changes everything. I see, gosh, in my journey of building cosmetics, right, hiring over 1,000 employees, or just in all different areas of life, friends, it doesn't matter. I have seen people so talented get a huge opportunity, and then they show up late every single time.
Crazy.
And they just think, oh, they have a habit of being late.
Yeah.
No, you're actually sabotaging an opportunity. Like, it shows up in so many ways, right? They're, oh, I really want a life partner, but you keep putting everyone in the friend zone and not being attracted to them. And because deep down inside, you don't believe you're worthy of a great relationship.
That's right.
So how did you go from sabotaging your baseball dreams? Because you had dreamed being a pro athlete, and and now you help literally athletes, the best athletes in the world. Right. I know that you coach presidents of world leaders. You coach so many different people to overcome their limiting beliefs, right? And I want to take a big step back here. I think in some spaces, like there's the personal growth world where everyone there knows what a limiting belief is. I think that I have 5 families through being adopted. I would venture to guess 95% of them, who are very smart, has never heard the term limiting belief. And just to break it down, because this may be, oh my gosh, of the other 200 things that are already breakthroughs in this episode, this one thing could be really, really big for somebody who's just listening right now. But we all have, so many of us have limiting beliefs in our life. And you've just talked about a few of them of, oh, I'm not worthy of this, or I'm unqualified, or I'm not talented enough for this. I'm not, we all tell ourselves, I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm not smart enough. People like me don't have things like this happen to me. I mean, on and on and on. The list of limiting beliefs, a lot of us tell ourselves, sometimes without realizing it, goes on and on and on. So how do you, Ed Mylett, in the most simplest of terms, overcome a limiting belief?
That's a great question. I'm going to tell you a weird thing that I do. For me, a lot of my superpower comes from my physiology. So when I feel limiting things about myself, it's typically it's a neurochemistry. So what I do with the athletes that I work, people always ask me, when you're dealing with these athletes, like, what are you working on? And they're surprised, because you know this too, because you're connected to so many people that have achieved at a high level. Believe it or not, it's their confidence or their worthiness level. Still at that level. They still struggle with it. They go into a slump or something. Like, I don't have to teach a UFC fighter how to throw a kick or a punch. They're better at that than I am. I have to get them back in. This is what I get them back into. I'll show them a kick or a punch they've thrown before, and I'll make them watch it. And I'll say, what does that feel like in that moment? What does it feel like in your body? Okay, so here's the real answer. And they'll tell me, oh, it feels like this. It feels amazing when you connect. Or a baseball player, when they hit it, what's it feel like? And I'll make them tell me, what's it feel off the bat like? What's it feel in your body? And I try to get there, because I believe success, bliss, happiness is actually a neurology. It's a neurochemistry. It's something you feel in your body. Any of you that have ever kind of been in that zone before, like, wow, I gave a good meeting right there, or that was an amazing conversation. You feel something. There's a calmness, a frequency to how you feel. And so what I will do to overcome my limiting beliefs is I will get my body back in that state of achievement. So for me, it might be a walk, or I'm moving. I don't read my goals sitting down. My goals are done when I'm working out, because I'm at a peak physical state. So I link it in those moments. So what I get with my athletes, or I do with myself, is I will shift my body into what I believe is like a peak neurochemistry. And then I can believe anything I want to about myself in those moments. It's when I'm not in that state that I suffer. I suffer when my body's not moving. So that's why like Tony Robbins' work is so profound, because what he does is he gets you moving and he's changing your neurochemistry. He's changing your neurology. So believe it or not, even with people that run big companies or countries, I will get them to get into the neurology they want and then link what they're doing physically to that state. So it's a technical thing, but it's something I do. Here's the other thing I have. I have 2 or 3 people in my life. I'll give you, that's the complicated thing, is changing your neurochemistry. The simple thing that I have is I have 2 or 3 people in my life, maybe it's 5 now, you're one of them, who will tell me the truth about me, who will get me to break through those limiting beliefs. I think you only need one other person in your life who believes in you super deeply, who can tell you when you're doing that to yourself. And I do it all the time. I still limit myself. I don't know if I could do this. I don't know if I could write another book. I don't know this. And you're like, are you crazy? That's an amazing book. Like, I don't know how many times you've been telling me about this book that I'm supposed to write. Like, and your belief in me oftentimes can override the limiting beliefs I have. So if I can give you 2 gifts, it would be 1, move your body in a resourceful way where you have that superhuman physiology going, and then do your thinking. Okay? In other words, don't think from an unresourceful state. Like when I wrote my book, I would move my body before I would write. When I do my goals, I move my body. So if you're in a limiting belief, you're probably in a limiting physiology, a limiting neurology, a limiting neurochemistry. Move your body to get things moving, and then think, and then tell me how you feel. Okay? And you will think differently when your body's changed. And have 1 to 5 people in your life who will speak truth to you when you're lying to yourself about the things that you're limited to do. And typically for me, those are the 2 things that shift me out of these limiting beliefs. I also need someone like you to talk to go, you're playing too small. You're thinking too small right now. Come on, this is what you're capable of. And you'll do that with me all the time. And you'll even challenge me. I want friends in my life. Here's the kicker. I want friends in my life who love me. Everyone says, I just need people to accept me as I am. Do you? Do you? Like, I want people to love me as I am, but maybe not accept me. In other words, I want people to see me as I'm capable of becoming. See me. I think real love, like with my children, I love them, but I don't always accept their behavior, right? What if I accepted everything my kids ever did? Is that real love? No. So what I see is how my kids could be, or what their behavior could have been. I want friends who go, I love you no matter what. But I don't accept this behavior from you. I don't accept that limiting belief. I don't accept that you believe that about yourself, because I know better about you. So I have people in my life who love me enough to challenge me when I'm doing that to myself. You are one of those people. You do that very regularly with me. You remind me of how much you believe in me and how much you love me and what you think I'm capable of. And I have enough trust with you that I believe you when you say it. Sometimes I believe you when I don't believe me. And so I would say, get that neurology and find these blessings in your life where these people love you, but they're not always just going to accept your behavior or your performance level, that they're going to challenge you. I want friends who challenge me, love me, but challenge me. And I have the blessing of that. And you're one of those blessings, as you know. Wow, we're going there today, aren't we?
This is so good.
This is really good.
Whether it's linking it to your good intentions.
Yes.
Your good intentions.
That's right. That's
Woo!
right. And we keep things so far away, but that's a great lie. The truth is, you're one decision away from changing. You're one new relationship. You're one podcast.
I feel like we are unlearning the lies
Yes.
today. Like knocking them down.
Oh, whoa.